You can always count on Bud Light, just like you can always count on Always Game Gary. No bar is too far. No wing sauce is too hot. Not for Gary. Always Game Gary is famous among friends. He deserves a Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB St. Louis, Missouri.
This is the best of the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
How often do you guys find yourself confused by what's going on with Victor Oladipo, with the idea that Paul George leaves Indiana and Oladipo is now better in just about every statistical way than Paul George was while he was there? Like, what do you do with that information? What do you do with Isaiah Thomas all of a sudden become a 30-point scorer when he's the one with the ball in his hands all the time? Like, that the Thunder are worse now than the Knicks, and they're worse now than the Pacers. That Carmelo Anthony being on this team makes it worse than the team that he left, and Paul George being on this team makes it worse than the team he left. What do you do with all of that?
I really don't know. I have thought about it, like what is going on with Victor Oladipo. Not often, but I have thought about it, and, you know, the best guess I can come up with on Oladipo is he's the best player on an average team, right?
But so was Paul George, and it made him a superstar.
Right. Now you're starting to see that with Oladipo, and Oladipo playing with Russell Westbrook was not this. And now Paul George playing with Russell Westbrook is not this. So I'm starting to wonder, is the guy who plays with Russell Westbrook...
Well, and Westbrook he's had 11 or 12 straight games where he shot under 50%.
Yeah.
Because the best way for Westbrook to play is the way that he played last year, for Westbrook personally.
Correct.
But that's not best for their team.
You can form an argument as to why Oladipo has better counting numbers than Paul George. You mentioned the Russell Westbrook and the quality of the teams, but that shouldn't play into efficiency. Oladipo's been a much better player than Paul George this season, and take out the fact that Sabonis has been pretty damn good too.
Well, I'm wondering, though, what I'm wondering about is superstardom. I've always thought of this as merit-based superstardom. You're not allowed to be a superstar unless you've earned it. Like, we don't let you be a superstar in sports just because you're famous. You got to be excellent, too. And if you look at what's happening right now in Indiana, what you see is that Victor Oladipo has been better than Paul George ever was. And so what I'm wondering is, if I get you an average team and I just give one guy the usage rate, am I making a Paul George out of 70 guys in the NBA? Am I making a Paul George? If I could do it with Victor Oladipo, how many other guys might I be able to do that with? It's not going to win me anything. It's just going to increase Oladipo's value and the respect that Oladipo gets, but I'm not going to win anything with Oladipo as my best player, but he's been Paul George, and Paul George got all the commercials.
Yeah, it's a curious theory. It's a little more complicated considering Oladipo was a highly touted prospect, and he's shown growth and development, and he's sort of forecasted to be this, judging by where he was drafted, right? But man, what a season. 24.5 points a game on 49% shooting. It's way better than Paul George.
And he was useless in Oklahoma City, and so was Sabonis. Sabonis was useless in Oklahoma City.
Sabonis is giving you 12 on 54% shooting.
I love that guy in college. He just seems like a tweener. And I can't believe I started with Pacers basketball. Okay, let's get to LeVar Ball's shoes. They have arrived. The Big Baller brand shoes. We bought 2 pair of shoes here. What was it, Mike? How long ago was this? Was it 8 months ago? This is the worst business in America right here. Big Baller.
We bought these Cinco de Mayo, I believe.
This is the worst business in America. In 2017, where a drone can drop something off at your house, we bought sneakers on the internet, and we bought it during the Mexican holiday of Cinco de Mayo.
For those who weren't here on Cinco de Mayo, Dan was praising this as a great business strategy.
Right.
Yeah.
Only making the ones people buy.
Yes, just in time for the holidays. Order in May.
A different product than you ordered also.
Well, this is the other thing. Stugotz, open your door there behind you.
Okay.
Mike is coming in with the shoes. Can I get a picture of the shoes we ordered? Because they're different shoes.
Of course they're different shoes. He ran out of your shoes.
I mean, I got to call LeVar Ball as customer service on air. Allison, let's try this again. I need to try this again. I want him to explain to me how it is that why did I have to wait 7 and 8 months for these shoes for our listeners?
Is this the new thing here where you're just calling people on the air?
Yes.
Like, is that what you're doing now?
I am devolving into a wacky morning show right before your ears. Last segment, we called that Bruce Sherman, the new owner of the Marlins, trying to smoke him out because he keeps using Jeter as a meat shield. And I left a message for Bruce Sherman saying, with his receptionist saying, can you tell Bruce Sherman that I'd like him to stop using or to talk to him about Derek Jeter being a meat shield? And you know what she said? She said Bruce Sherman refers all calls to Derek Jeter.
And then Dan said, I'm calling every day.
That's right. I'm going to call every day until I get Bruce Sherman on the air, smoke that guy out owning the Marlins when he doesn't have money.
Right. Then I called, and I feel like Bruce Sherman might be on my show in about 15 to 20 minutes. I already got a text back from Chris.
Right.
And we're having dinner tonight.
Right. Stugotz buttered up. If you go listen to the local hour, if you want explanations for what it is that we just did. But now I've got LeVar Ball. Can I see a picture of the sneakers I was supposed to get? The sneakers I thought I was buying. If you're new to the show, Cinco de Mayo, LeVar Ball came out with his shoes. Back then I was not tired of LeVar Ball. He was an anarchist, and he was a bad messenger, but I love that he was just throwing fire all over the place, that he's the basketball Kardashians, that's what he's doing. And so in supporting his cause of anarchy, and Guillermo was right with his cutting criticism, that I believe that this was a brilliant marketing strategy, the idea of you do not start making things until people order them. That way, your demand is never higher than your supply. Like your supply is exactly at what your demand is. It's a good way to do it.
You always hear companies struggling because they can't keep up with all the orders that are coming in.
It's a good, right.
Back order.
Right. All right. So, Mike, how would you describe, before I open this box here, whatever it is LeVar Ball sent us for, what was this, $1,000? Was it $1,000? We bought $1,000 worth of shoes.
Yeah, for two. I think it breaks down about 500.
So listeners, we had a contest, and these are for listeners. We are going to send these to the listeners who won it, if we still have their names in the file cabinets from 8 months ago.
Some people have moved. So the original Zode 2s kind of look like some old school Kobe's with the Adidas sort of foam finish on the soles.
All right, Stugotz, so look at those sneakers there that Mike is holding up. And since this is largely not a visual medium, even though some of you are watching us on ESPNU, the majority of you are listening to us on the radio. How would you describe those shoes? Before I open this box, how would you describe the shoes that Mike Ryan, that you're looking at right now? Because Mike can be a sneakerhead, but how would you describe what Mike is holding up right there?
Well, it's black. They're low top shoes, black. They got Lonzo's number on the side there, number 3. It's got the gold trimming inside. It's got the Big Baller brand emblem on the back of the shoe.
It's a good looking shoe.
It is a good. It happens to be a good looking shoe.
It's a good looking shoe. It obviously copied some more popular shoes, but hey, they were good looking shoes.
All right, so now I'm going to open it up. They're going to be black, right?
I guess.
Who knows?
I hope.
We getting? All right. Before I open this, before I do this,
you're getting the prime remix right now because LeVar said so.
Hold on. Let me go around the room here and ask you guys, what do you think is going to happen when I open this box? Chris, what is your best guess for what's going to happen when I open this box?
They're going to look almost exactly the same.
Okay, that would be good. That would be an upset. If the Big Baller brand marketing model that is now making its way through Lithuania produced exactly what I ordered 8 months late.
I think you're getting the flip-flops.
You're getting the slides?
Yeah.
I hope you're getting the Jellos. I like the Jellos.
I'm going to go off the board and say you're getting a hat.
Do you guys believe that these shoes will be black? Yes or no?
I'm not even sure they will be shoes.
Okay. I guess I probably should have. All right, so I'm reaching into this. This
is exciting, yes, man. Okay. 8 months in the making.
Well, there might be some anticlimax here.
It's a shoe box.
Right, it's a shoe box.
Oh, look, there's bubble wrap.
Yeah, very exciting. Worth the $500 already.
Yeah.
All right, so I have the Big Baller brand here. It is gold, and it looks like Big Baller. It also looks like 3 3s.
What the 3? His jersey number is 2, but yes, it does.
It looks like their BBB looks like Big Baller brand looks like 3 3s.
Oh, did I get that wrong?
All right, so here I go.
Fireworks.
I'm reaching into the bag, and there is some sort of velvet packaging.
Wow. Is there a bottle of liquor in there?
There's no way it's velvet.
It is not velvet. It feels
Polyester.
like fake velvet. And now the shoes are here.
There we go.
Pulling one out.
Oh.
And here is the Big Baller brand.
That's
right
a different
there.
shoe. That is a different shoe.
It's a different shoe, yes.
It's a higher top. It's not what I ordered. The shoe I ordered was a low top. That does not look like a low top. That looks like a high top. Correct? This is not the shoe that I ordered.
It's like a hybrid.
Yeah.
This is
Not a
not
high top, not a low top. In between top. But it's a tweener. And the logo is on the front, on the tongue, and not on the back. So that's
I like the shoe. I like the shoe better than the one I ordered.
Really?
Really?
It's not the shoe I ordered.
No.
I paid $500 8 months ago to get not the shoe I wanted.
Yeah. Gone is the sort of Kobe replica body to the shoe. Also, the Adidas foam on the sole is also gone. But this sole finish is pretty decent.
I believe our listeners will like the shoe. The listeners who get this will. What are you doing reaching through?
Can you
one
make
of the
sure
other boxes?
there's a right and left shoe?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's an important thing.
Well, I was making sure maybe there was a different pair of shoes in the other box, but they are.
They're the same.
Yep, they're the same.
Okay, I only got one shoe.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive
We got
Insurance.
3 shoes.
Huh.
No, I'm making that up. It's a funny joke, but I'm just going for the joke at the end of the segment. I got 5 shoes.
You done going for the joke, or?
I got 7 shoes. I can
team.
go all night, baby. I got 9 shoes. I got 9 shoes and a flip-flop.
You got any more jokes?
11 shoes. Undefeated, never lost. We can play this game forever.
You got one more?
13 shoes.
Dan Batard.
Stugotz talking about movies is one of the most amazing things you'll ever see. He says he wants to know in a movie's title what a movie's about, and he was just yelping and complaining.
Stugotz.
Well, I mean, Dances with Wolves, which is one of the most overrated movies in the history of movie making. The guy never dances with a wolf. If the title of the movie is going to be Dances with Wolves, then I want to see a guy dancing with wolves. Costner never did it.
Right, you were waiting
Soft.
3 hours for a guy to dance with a wolf.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So we have not checked in with the meanderings of Jose Canseco in a long time. Jose Canseco was, during his time, about as big a sports star as there was. Baseball mattered more then. He was a power hitter. He was swaggering. He was dating Madonna. He was not Michael Jordan, but he was next. Like, there weren't a lot of stars in sports bigger than Jose Canseco. And what happened to him after his stardom involves nothing but craziness. He's on Twitter asking people for chandeliers. He doesn't have money. He you pick up his Twitter account, and for some reason there are goats with diapers in the back seat of his car.
Yeah.
His finger reportedly falls off during a poker match. He was wearing lavender Speedos on one of those reality shows. I don't know, was it The Real World or something like it? And now what has happened? Let's play the imaging right now that we used to have. It's been a long time. Also, he's responsible for the single greatest play in the history of sports, which is when a ground rule double bounced off of his head for a home run. 2 extra bases for the opponent in an extraordinary show of clumsiness. A fly ball hit him on the top of the head and bounced out of the stadium for a home run. Greatest play in sports history.
It's time to highlight the ramblings of a crazy person. It's Jose Canseco's tweet of the day.
Well, tweets of the day, because he was all over the place and in rare form yesterday.
I think he got fired for some of these tweets. He got fired from his job. And I would ask you again, the hell was Canseco doing working in baseball? Like, how did he have a job?
Oh, no.
Like, wait a minute. You know what? This reminds me of when this company fired Rush Limbaugh for being Rush Limbaugh. Like, what's the point of having Jose Canseco as an employee of yours unless you're going to allow him to be Jose Canseco? Now, he did something that was offensive, but the whole point of having Jose Canseco on. It's a fireable offense.
Oh, no,
But the whole point of having him on is because he's going to teeter on that line.
I was reading these thinking, wow, Canseco does not care about whatever job it is that he has right now. Just doesn't care about it. But I think he explains why as the tweets go on, because I think he's got a big project in store for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
All right. So what are the tweets of the day?
He says, what is going on with all these politicians molesting women? I've been molested by several women and never complained. Well, I mean, I've been beaten by women, taken advantage of by women, and molested by women. I never complained. It was kind of a turn-on.
That'll get you fired every time.
Yep. I see the difference, I guess, because I was a good-looking guy, and these politicians look like a bag of boogers. Hi, Sarah. That's a tweet he threw in there. Yes.
Hi, Sarah.
These women complaining against sexual misconduct are just racist against ugly men.
Misconduct. The way you pronounced that was
okay.
Had a
misconduct.
It's phallic at the end.
Okay. What do you call a pretty woman with an inbred-looking politician? Followed up by, all capitalized, paid. Why is everyone so worried about what I'm saying? I'm just a simple guy trying to pay my bills, worry about who's running our country.
Well, paying the bills just got a little harder.
The media worries too much about what I do. Oh, bleep. I just farted. Wonder if they want to know how it smells.
Yes, actually.
This is when I realized he does not care about whatever job it is that he had yesterday. Our show is coming soon to Las Vegas. It's going to be incredible. It's called Renegades at Caesar's Palace. There's no such thing as being politically correct. It's called being a liar and a hypocrite. Jim McMahon, Terrell Owens, and myself, Jose Canseco, coming soon to Vegas, Caesar's Palace. Our show will be called Renegades. Check it out.
No, the show is We Need Money. What was that? Terrell Owens?
Jim McMahon, Terrell Owens, and myself, Jose Canseco. At Caesar's Palace, our show will be called Renegades.
I mean, they are all renegades. What kind of show is that?
A show I would watch, I think. Better watch out with Bitcoin time for the big investors to pull out and leave the little guy holding the bag.
Now, Jose Canseco was expected to return to the A's broadcast before all this happened. However, he only had a one-year agreement, so the regional network over there said he's no longer an employee here. We disagree with those, and the A's put out a statement. However, after the news that he wasn't being brought back broke, Jose Canseco reached out to Susan Slusser of the San Francisco Chronicle and in a text message said, if people can't take a joke, that's ridiculous. What I'm saying really has no meaning. Those tweets don't even make any sense. They're a bunch of riddles.
Every casino is structured.
Enough.
Well, no, this was a great riddle here.
All right, let's hear this riddle.
Bitcoin is mathematically structured so a lot of people lose money and a small group will make a killing. Every casino is structured on the same mathematics that Bitcoin is. Look at the simplest slot machine in Vegas. That is what Bitcoin is structured on. Should have ended on what Mike said.
I don't know why you kept reading. Were you gonna do what I was doing with the numbers last segment, where I was just going to give odd numbers for the rest of the time? Were you just going to read Canseco's whole account?
Yeah.
Or were you looking for the joke that would get us to the funny ending?
I was looking for the joke, but Mike
because you just did a Bitcoin thing that was totally irrelevant.
I thought his take on Bitcoin was actually pretty interesting and spot on.
Don Batard.
Texture writes in, spectacular interview with Lame Kiffin, you flabby jerk. Did you forget to ask him why nobody can stand to be around him for more than a couple of weeks, you chunky baby boy?
Is that guy?
You got me, Texter. You called me a flabby jerk, and then you came over the top and you ran up the score with chunky baby boy.
Stugotz.
What is this voice and face?
No, I'm defeated because I had retorts and I could use the vocabulary to lash back, but instead I'm just defeated.
You look like a chunky baby boy.
Yes.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
What do you do if you're the Thunder, Stugotz? Do you write it out?
You have to write it out. Yes, absolutely. You don't?
Oh, I just know those are trades they had to make. And it looks like those pieces aren't ever going to fit. Like Westbrook's a difficult. He's a difficult person to play with because of his ball dominance for guys like Paul George and Carmelo. What Carmelo and Paul George have just shown you is to reiterate how great Kevin Durant was, because Russ is a hard person to play with.
Well, in that dynamic, Russ was the 2, Durant was the number 1 guy.
But yes,
you come to Russ's team now when you're falling in line behind Russell Westbrook.
George and Carmelo are lost. They could not have possibly thought that this is what they were signing up for. Carmelo left the other day before speaking to reporters after having 11 points.
Right. Well, that's what he does. I mean, the 11 points, walk out at reporters. I told you that thing would he'd get old in a hurry. And he's literally gotten old in a hurry. And I guarantee you the Oklahoma City fan base is tired of him after 26 games because he's annoying. And I can tell you what follows Carmelo Anthony. Nothing. Nothing follows Carmelo Anthony. Wherever he goes, nothing follows except headaches. That's it. That's what he brings to your city and your organization, a big fat headache. I'm tired of him.
It was a trade they had to make, though. And
it is a trade you have to make, and we were all ready to make Presti Executive of the Year by somehow getting those players all to go to Oklahoma City.
And by pulling the trigger on those trades, he got Russell Westbrook to commit to them long-term after he saw how aggressive they were, and they can still move Paul George and Carmelo Anthony.
No, but what I'm asking you guys is, do you start thinking about moving them? Because you got no chance. You're losing at home. You're losing at home to the Hornets.
You're only 3 back of the Timberwolves. It is early, right?
It is early. It is, but what I'm asking you is, what do you do? I'm asking you to be the manager of that team, the guy responsible for the infrastructure. You had to make the deals you made. Everyone would agree with you. You got to get rid of Oladipo.
Right.
And they weren't playing well. Sabonis, they weren't playing well with Russell Westbrook. He wasn't incorporating them.
Well, they went for it, and as Mike pointed out, and it's a great point, they pleased and placated Russell Westbrook. It is
a great point.
Yes.
Yeah, if you get him to sign long-term, that's fine. Like, that's enough on those deals with a one-year experiment.
But I've watched them when they're playing right. There have been games, like when they blew out Golden State, when Westbrook and Durant were going at it, and Golden State was healthy that game. Like, they blew them out. They beat in San Antonio. Like, when they play well, it looks right. It's strange that it doesn't look like that every night because it seems like those parts would fit.
I mean, that's not a lot of defensive play you're getting on that. I mean, Carmelo right now, if Carmelo's not a scorer for you, he's a liability. Like, if you're not going to use Carmelo Anthony as someone who gets you points, then he's not going to do anything else for you that's helpful. He's just a guy. Right? You might as well have Cephalosha out there or Roberson or one of those other guys who's just going to run around and do all the small stuff that Carmelo's not going to do for you.
I mean, they have 3 guys who like to have the ball in their hand. We saw how hard it was with LeBron and Wade, and those guys were at their peaks. Wade was coming down a little bit, but this is an older Carmelo Anthony, and Paul George is still a young guy, but it's got to be a very difficult dynamic, and we've seen it be tough with 2 guys. 3 guys is a whole new world.
I love what the Rockets are doing. Not just, I don't know, what are they, 21-4 or something? Like, obviously, everyone loves that. But do you see how they're staggering the minutes? Like, they are doing some creative stuff with the math, trying to catch up to Golden State with some of the way they're using the minutes, staggering. One of either Chris Paul or James Harden is always on the court, always. One of them's always going to be out there. That's not something you've seen before. You haven't seen in all of these permutations Kevin Durant and Steph go to the bench at the same time.
Right, but Draymond or Clay are out there.
I know, but yes. But you haven't seen what you're seeing here, where they've only got 2 guys, so they are maximizing the ability of the 2 guys to be the number 1, which is what Carmelo and Paul George need, but it's hard to do that when you've got 3 of them.
I love what Houston is doing. We're in a league right now where most people are resigned to the fact that you can't beat the Warriors at their own game, and Houston's over there saying,
yes, we
watch
can.
me.
Yes, we can.
You think they can, but you actually think they can?
Look, man.
Because I don't.
Well, here's the thing. The math over 7 games, the best team gets rewarded in that sport. But, man, they are bleeping with the math because of the number of threes that they're taking. They're taking so many threes that they're inundating the market inefficiency by taking 50. They're taking more than the Warriors do by a lot. And so if they've got a math advantage and one shot's worth more than the rest, they're tilting the game in their favor by taking so many of them with these 2 guys playing so fast and just surrounding them with shooters. It's a really fascinating way to chase the Warriors. No, I don't think so. But on any night that they hit 20 of the 53s, they're probably going to beat you.
It'd be a really cool story for D'Antoni to go.
You can always count on Bud Light, just like you can always count on Always Game Gary. No bar is too far. No wing sauce is too hot. Not for Gary. Always Game Gary is famous among friends. He deserves a Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, 80 St. Louis, Missouri.
This is the best of the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
How often do you guys find yourself confused by what's going on with Victor Oladipo, with the idea that Paul George leaves Indiana and Oladipo is now better in just about every statistical way than Paul George was while he was there? Like, what do you do with that information? What do you do with Isaiah Thomas all of a sudden become a 30-point scorer when he's the one with the ball in his hands all the time? Like, that the Thunder are worse now than the Knicks, and they're worse now than the Pacers. That Carmelo Anthony being on this team makes it worse than the team that he left, and Paul George being on this team makes it worse than the team he left. What do you do with all of that?
I really don't know. I have thought about it, like what is going on with Victor Oladipo. Not often, but I have thought about it. And, you know, the best guess I can come up with on Oladipo is he's the best player on an average team, right?
But so was Paul George, and it made him a superstar.
Right. Now you're starting to see that with Oladipo, and Oladipo playing with Russell Westbrook was not this. And now Paul George playing with Russell Westbrook is not this. So I'm starting to wonder, is the guy who plays with Russell Westbrook...
Well, and Westbrook he's had 11 or 12 straight games where he shot under 50%.
Yeah.
Because the best way for Westbrook to play is the way that he played last year, for Westbrook personally.
Correct.
But that's not best for their team.
You can form an argument as to why Oladipo has better counting numbers than Paul George. You mentioned the Russell Westbrook and the quality of the teams, but that shouldn't play into efficiency. Oladipo's been a much better player than Paul George this season, and take out the fact that Sabonis has been pretty damn good too.
Well, I'm wondering though, what I'm wondering about is superstardom. I've always thought of this as merit-based superstardom. You're not allowed to be a superstar unless you've earned it. Like, we don't let you be a superstar in sports just because you're famous. You got to be excellent too. And if you look at what's happening right now in Indiana, what you see is that Victor Oladipo has been better than Paul George ever was. And so what I'm wondering is, if I get you an average team and I just give one guy the usage rate, am I making a Paul George out of 70 guys in the NBA? Am I making a Paul George? If I could do it with Victor Oladipo, how many other guys might I be able to do that with? It's not going to win me anything. It's just going to increase Oladipo's value and the respect that Oladipo gets, but I'm not going to win anything with Oladipo as my best player. But he's been Paul George, and Paul George got all the commercials.
Yeah, it's a curious theory. It's a little more complicated considering Oladipo was a highly touted prospect, and he's shown growth and development, and he's sort of forecasted to be this, judging by where he was drafted, right? But man, what a season. 24.5 points a game on 49% shooting. It's way better than Paul George.
And he was useless in Oklahoma City, and so was Sabonis. Sabonis was useless in Oklahoma City.
Sabonis is giving you 12 on 54% shooting.
I love that guy in college. He just seems like a tweener. And I can't believe I started with Pacers basketball. Okay, let's get to LeVar Ball's shoes. They have arrived. The Big Baller brand shoes. We bought 2 pair of shoes here. What was it, Mike? How long ago was this? Was it 8 months ago? This is the worst business in America right here. Big Baller.
We bought these Cinco de Mayo, I believe.
This is the worst business in America. In 2017, where a drone can drop something off at your house, we bought sneakers on the internet, and we bought it during the Mexican holiday of Cinco de Mayo.
For those who weren't here on Cinco de Mayo, Dan was praising this as a great business strategy.
Right.
Yeah.
Only making the ones people buy.
Yes, just in time for the holidays. Order in May.
A different product than you ordered also.
Well, this is the other thing. Stugotz, open your door there behind you.
Okay.
Mike is coming in with the shoes. Can I get a picture of the shoes we ordered? Because they're different shoes.
Of course they're different shoes. He ran out of your shoes.
I mean, I got to call LeVar Ball as customer service on air. Allison, let's try this again. I need to try this again. I want him to explain to me how it is that why did I have to wait 7 and 8 months for these shoes for our listeners?
Is this the new thing here where you're just calling people on the air?
Yes.
Like, is that what you're doing now?
I am devolving into a wacky morning show right before your ears. Last segment, we called that Bruce Sherman, the new owner of the Marlins, trying to smoke him out because he keeps using Jeter as a meat shield. And I left a message for Bruce Sherman saying, with his receptionist saying, can you tell Bruce Sherman that I'd like him to stop using or to talk to him about Derek Jeter being a meat shield? And you know what she said? She said Bruce Sherman refers all calls to Derek Jeter.
And then Dan said, I'm calling every day.
That's right. I'm going to call every day until I get Bruce Sherman on the air, smoke that guy out owning the Marlins when he doesn't have money.
Right. Then I called, and I feel like Bruce Sherman might be on my show in about 15 to 20 minutes. I already got a text back from Chris.
Right.
And we're having dinner tonight.
Right. Stugotz buttered up. If you go listen to the local hour, if you want explanations for what it is that we just did. But now I've got LeVar Ball. Can I see a picture of the sneakers I was supposed to get? The sneakers I thought I was buying. If you're new to the show, Cinco de Mayo, LeVar Ball came out with his shoes. Back then I was not tired of LeVar Ball. He was an anarchist, and he was a bad messenger, but I love that he was just throwing fire all over the place, that he's the basketball Kardashians, that's what he's doing. And so in supporting his cause of anarchy, and Guillermo was right with his cutting criticism, that I believe that this was a brilliant marketing strategy, the idea of you do not start making things until people order them. That way, your demand is never higher than your supply. Like your supply is exactly at what your demand is. It's a good way to do it.
You always hear companies struggling because they can't keep up with all the orders that are coming in.
It's a good, right.
Back order.
Right. All right. So, Mike, how would you describe, before I open this box here, whatever it is LeVar Ball sent us for, what was this, $1,000? Was it $1,000? We bought $1,000 worth of shoes.
Yeah, for two. I think it breaks down about 500.
So listeners, we had a contest, and these are for listeners. We are going to send these to the listeners who won it, if we still have their names, in the file cabinets from 8 months ago.
Some people have moved. So the original Zode 2s kind of look like some old school Kobe's with the Adidas sort of foam finish on the soles.
All right, Stugotz, so look at those sneakers there that Mike is holding up. And since this is largely not a visual medium, even though some of you are watching us on ESPNU, the majority of you are listening to us on the radio. How would you describe those shoes? Before I open this box, how would you describe the shoes that Mike Ryan, that you're looking at right now? Because Mike can be a sneakerhead, but how would you describe what Mike is holding up right there?
Well, it's black. They're low top shoes, black. They got Lonzo's number on the side there, number 3. It's got the gold trimming inside. It's got the Big Baller brand emblem on the back of the shoe.
It's a good looking shoe.
It is a good. It happens to be a good looking shoe.
It's a good looking shoe. It obviously copied some more popular shoes, but hey, they were good looking shoes.
All right, so now I'm going to open it up. They're going to be black, right?
I guess.
Who knows?
I hope.
We getting? All right. Before I open this, before I do this,
you're getting the prime remix right now because LeVar said so.
Hold on. Let me go around the room here and ask you guys, what do you think is going to happen when I open this box? Chris, what is your best guess for what's going to happen when I open this box?
They're going to look almost exactly the same.
Okay, that would be good. That would be an upset. If the Big Baller brand marketing model that is now making its way through Lithuania produced exactly what I ordered 8 months late.
I think you're getting the flip-flops.
You're getting the slides?
Yeah.
I hope you're getting the Jellos. I like the Jellos.
I'm going to go off the board and say you're getting a hat.
Do you guys believe that these shoes will be black? Yes or no?
I'm not even sure they will be shoes.
Okay. I guess I probably should have. All right, so I'm reaching into this. This
is exciting, yes, man. Okay. 8 months in the making.
Well, there might be some anticlimax here.
It's a shoe box.
Right, it's a shoe box.
Oh, look, there's bubble wrap.
Yeah, very exciting. Worth the $500 already.
Yeah.
All right, so I have the Big Baller brand here. It is gold, and it looks like Big Baller. It also looks like 3 3s.
What the 3? His jersey number is 2, but yes, it does.
It looks like their BBB looks like Big Baller brand looks like 3 3s.
Oh, did I get that wrong?
All right, so here I go.
Fireworks.
I'm reaching into the bag, and there is some sort of velvet packaging.
Wow. Is there a bottle of liquor in there?
There's no way it's velvet.
It is not velvet. It feels
Polyester.
like fake velvet. And now the shoes are here.
There we go.
Pulling one out.
Oh.
And here is the Big Baller brand.
That's
right
a different
there.
shoe. That is a different shoe.
It's a different shoe, yes.
It's a higher top. It's not what I ordered. The shoe I ordered with snaps. You see Tom Brady running backwards, chasing a ball, looking every bit as 40 years old, risking injury. But I'm sure it happens on occasional, but not very often, where you get a bad snap. How is that possible?
Oh, and in the snow, no one would be the wiser. It would have been a perfect crime.
It really would have been. Nobody would have ever discovered it. And Vinatieri could have gotten his, what was it, $500,000 bonus?
$500,000, man. Billy is I didn't even think about that when I was thinking about this last night, just cutting a deal with the long snapper and the holder. That is such a heady play by you.
Going unstated here, and this is wrong that this is happening, is just the very idea that Adam Vinatieri is still kicking footballs in the National Football League. I mean, he's older than Jan Stenerud. Like,
it's getting to the point where I can only remember him as a Colts kicker.
Adam Vinatieri, how long is Adam Vinatieri going to do that if he's still doing that at 90%? Is Adam Vinatieri going to put this on the poll, Guillermo? Is Adam Vinatieri going to still be kicking field goals as a mummy in his 90s?
He's 44 right now. And the gray is starting to creep in.
Oh, but Vinatieri's got to walk out on the field and say, I can't work under these conditions. Pagano, you go do it. Like, what, are you kidding me? It's a $500,000 bonus. I'm not going to go out there and try and kick in this nonsense. Did you see what happened to Peterman's face? Right? Like Peterman got like 2 concussions on the same play. His brain was concussed and the side of his face was concussed. Whatever brain particles are in the side of his face.
You got to bring Pagano, like the picture at its worst moment. Peterman at its worst moment, right as the face is driving into the snow. You got to bring him that picture on your phone when he calls you to go in and just say no. Look, well, why not? Well, look,
Chuck, look. We all know that you're on borrowed time. Don't make me go out here and do this. I got $500,000.
I couldn't tell where the ball was the whole day.
That's what I'm talking about. When we discussed this, I can't tell either. How do you expect me to kick it when you're on the sidelines coaching and this is how you feel about it?
I couldn't tell where the ball was the whole day.
You already mentioned that, Chuck. I couldn't tell where it was either all day. It was snow. It was crazy.
I was trying to get him to say hi, Frank.
But you couldn't find it?
Couldn't find it.
It was a lot. I was asking a lot of you there. All of a sudden inventing a conversation with Pagano out of this guy. We could do a whole nother Who's on First routine with me and Pagano.
Dan Le Batard.
I mean, Stugotz is the physical manifestation of the comment section come to life. Do you agree with that assessment that you are a comment section come to life?
100%.
It's, I wouldn't take such pride in that.
I do.
Stugotz.
But I want you to imagine Stugotz rising up from the gutter. Like, what you're looking at right now is a gutter. Only a gutter. And now it starts as a face, and the mouth gets bigger, and it just keeps growing, and then just shouts, rings.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So Charles Barkley went on with Golic and Wingo, and I know many of you have a whole lot of issues with Charles. Charles is a very good friend of mine. I love all the things that he is, even though I disagree with some of them. He is unusual in that I've never seen a celebrity in my life ever treat the common people as well as Charles Barkley does in terms of making people feel special. And yesterday, because he cares deeply, and I know many of you hate Charles Barkley, or you think he's an Uncle Tom, or you think that sometimes the way he talks about black causes makes it feel like he's playing, respectability politics, and you don't like some of the things Charles Barkley said. But Charles Barkley dragged his butt to Alabama yesterday to be in the middle of that and see if he could swing the power in Alabama in a way that Alabama doesn't ever get the power swung, and he succeeded. And And that is using the platform. He's not a perfect messenger. There are many places that he gets it wrong, but one of the places he doesn't get it wrong is the manner in which he cares. And it's not a small thing. So Charles Barkley was on with Golic and Wingo, and he is a father. Charles is a father. And he doesn't – I feel like what LeVar Ball is pressing on the most – LeVar Ball doesn't bother me.
Right.
But I feel like he's bothering parents.
He is.
But I feel like I don't feel like he's bothering single people or college kids or people who don't have responsibilities and don't have to care for someone or nurture someone who comes from the womb helpless.
Well, you just can't relate to it. If you're single, if you don't have a kid, you just can't relate to what it is to have something that's so important to you that you would do nothing but, shower them with good things.
I know, but moral outrage generally comes, it comes from a lot of places, but oftentimes the place that it comes from is the idea of somebody exploiting their children.
Right.
Like, if you're a parent, and you'll feel that more deeply. You will feel what's happening with LeVar Ball. I'm looking at it from here, and I think it's all funny. It's all entertainment. Parents look at it, and they're like, no. There are kids involved here at a dangerous age. What LeVar Ball is doing is dangerous. And now everybody's a parent and telling him how to parent.
Right. I would tell those parents, sending your kids to public school these days, that's dangerous. Anything's dangerous, okay? Don't think you're doing it better than he's doing it, okay? All right, well, you do it your way and let him do it his way.
Well, hold on. But here's Charles Barkley telling you he's not down with the way that LeVar Ball is doing it, sending the younger Ball brothers to Lithuania to start their professional careers right now, because if anyone's going to exploit them, it's going to be him before it's going to be the NCAA.
I do know Lithuania, they got a great basketball heritage. If you go back and look at the 1992 Dream Team that I was fortunate to be part of, they were one of the elite teams that we played. I don't know anything about that league or how it is, but like I say, first of all, I wish there was a place farther away from America they could send him. First of all, I would never leave my kids over there. If he's a legit father, he should stay over there with those kids the entire time. That would prove something to me. People are going to say he's a great father. Well, stay over there with those kids. I would never send my 2 teenage kids to Lithuania and then show back up in the United States the next day. I would stay with my kids if I was a good father.
So he's raining down the judgment, Stugotz.
Right, and I'm not, listen, I'm just not a fan. I respect what he has to say. Charles has been on the show and been great to us over the years. I'm not a fan of other people. Parent your own kids, okay? And you don't know the exact plan that LeVar has for these kids in Lithuania. You don't know if he's going to have family members with him. You don't know if he's going to be there himself some of the time. You don't know.
Yes.
And so maybe that's not good for Charles Barkley. But you know what? It's good for LeVar Ball, and it's good for those kids because they're okay with it.
Well, but wait a minute. That's a big distinction you're making there, because I do think that many of the people who object to everything that's happening here, you just said it's good for LeVar Ball. That's indisputable. What many people are arguing when you get the angriest form of outrage is that he's doing it for LeVar Ball at the expense of his kids. You're like, the kids are okay with it. The kids don't know any better. Whether they're following dad and dad says, let's go play professionally in Lithuania. Like, they're pretty young to be making those decisions.
They are pretty young. But Dan, so what? Go to UCLA and let the NCAA and UCLA make tons of money off of your name,
Understood.
off of your brand?
No, wait a minute.
That's good parenting?
Wait a minute. No, wait a minute, though.
Okay.
I'm not sure that LeVar Ball views himself as much as a father as he does as a coach or a brand builder or a marketing manager for these kids. That the thing that they all want together is the success that comes from this. And so he views himself as the anarchist builder of an empire going against the grain. But you need to separate those two things. Him saying, the NCAA is not going to exploit my kids. If anyone's going to exploit them, it's going to be me and under my care, is different than sending them to Lithuania and then staying here and just letting them sink or swim in Lithuanian basketball. I don't know how he's handling those details either, but Charles Barkley continues to go down this path on Golic and Wingo, where he's just saying, no. This is just exploitation. This is LeVar Ball doing for LeVar Ball.
I just feel bad for those kids because, everybody talk about he might be a good father, this and that. No, he's not. He's just exploiting his kids. His kids, I love the kid playing for the Lakers. I don't know the other 2 kids. He's all about big baller brand. He has no foreseeable talent. He's trying to make money on his kids. And I just feel sadness for those kids because they're going to do whatever he tells them to do. And I just don't like the guy at all, plain and simple. And don't tell me he's a good father. Just because you exploit your kids trying to make money because you have no talent, that does not make you a good father. That makes you exploiting your kids. And I don't like the guy at all, and I wish they would quit putting him on television because he has no talent whatsoever.
The voice of the Yankees, Michael Kay, is next.
Don Batard.
If you watched the interview last night that he did with Al Troutwig, I believe. He was a fossil, by the way. Anyway, if you...
Why did you take out Al Troutwig?
Troutwig, please. Oh, seriously. Well polished Al Troutwig. I got issues with Al Troutwig that go way, way back. Way back. Way back.
Go on.
I just don't like the guy, man.
Stugotz.
Put this on the poll. When I say the name Al Troutwig, do you imagine him wearing a wig made out of trout?
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Play that Mike Tomlin sound, please, Mike, so I can hear it in his voice, not blinking, because he thinks that he's in the military and he worries every week that anybody is going to be able to get out of the stadium.
Excited about being in the kitchen, if you will. You know, it's good to be in the kitchen. The kitchen's in Pittsburgh, PA, this week in the National Football League. And at Heinz Field. And that's where you want to be in the middle of December. So we don't take it for granted. As competitors, we're excited about it. But as professionals, we know that preparation is going to be required. So we'll spend the rest of this time putting ourselves in great position to perform in the manner in which we desire to.
Oh, for the love of God.
No one wants to be there in the middle of December. Nobody.
Michael Kay with us now. He's the voice of the Yankees. Does anyone want to be there in the middle of December? Does anyone want to be there in the middle of December?
Heinfield Kitchen.
Does Mike Tomlin sound like a dope talking about kitchens? And by the way, do you refer to it as the you ever put this on the poll? Are you a self-serious gas bag if you refer to it as the National Football League instead of the NFL? Michael Kay with us now. Thank you for joining us, Michael. Do you refer to it as the NFL or the National Football League?
When I do my John Facenda imitation, it's the National Football League, but most of the time it's NFL.
Right, because you're a man of the people. Michael Kay.
I've always been that.
Yeah, he's a man of the people.
Would you want to be in Pittsburgh in the middle of December?
No.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a
Although Pittsburgh's a great town.
Yes?
Yeah,
but
it really
cold,
is.
But cold.
It is cold, but I have a coat.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
But you said no already. It's
you
a
already
great town
said no.
in July.
Don't take it back.
It's a great town in July.
So Michael Kay is the voice of the Yankees, and we were talking before you came on here. We were talking about something. Allison, hold on a second, Michael. Hold on for a second. Allison was asking. She was telling us a story about J.K. It's J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, yes.
J.K. Simmons is coming on the show with us tomorrow.
You're rattled by this fine system.
No, hold on. Yes, I am. And I'm rattled by everything that's happening here. By the way, I haven't mentioned. I want to talk to Allison. I have not mentioned that Stugotz and Mike Ryan are going to be hosting the Russillo show today. So you're going to get bonus Le Batard show drippage, long day.
Yep.
The crew's going to be hosting the Russillo show because everybody's at these talent meetings at ESPN. That's why Michael Kay sounds so good.
Right.
Is because he's at these talent meetings that we couldn't get to because we got to do all this crud today.
We weren't invited.
So, Allison, what I want to know about is what was the ridiculousness that you were talking about with Stugotz? This is a good conversation here.
Stugotz asked J.K. Simmons last time he was on because he's endorses Farmers Insurance, if he gets free insurance.
Right. And so, no, this is the reason that's funny, because Allison pointed out, because I would have thought that celebrities might get all free stuff, including insurance. But Allison is pointing out that then you could just drive crazy all the time and your insurance rates never go up. So that,
correct.
Like, would you not have assumed, Michael, that famous people could get insurance for free if they were commercial endorsement people for that insurance?
You would think so, and you could say that the money they get paid, they just pay the insurance, it's free. But, one of the sponsors of the radio show is Geico, and I don't get it free.
What kind of free stuff do you get?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Why?
No.
Because you got to be a journalist? Well, you get free drinks. Michael, you walk into New York. Michael, you're not paying for all your meals. You're not paying for all your drinks. You're the voice of the Yankees.
That's totally untrue. If Aaron Judge walks into a restaurant, he's not paying for his meal. What do they care if the broadcaster comes in?
Because you're the voice of the Yankees. That's a big deal. How often are you standing in line and people don't see you but hear you, and you're like, wow, that sounds like the voice of the Yankees. And there it is. They turn around and it's you.
Never.
You're not doing it right. What's
Because I don't talk online, Stu.
Okay. Well, how about Dom? What's LaGreca getting for free? Everything.
How about LaGreca just had two? He had twins. He doesn't even know what he's in for.
Oh, boy.
That's going to be crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't 49 years old.
Michael, you don't get anything for free. Oh, I still got a chance. I'm still in the game.
It's over.
Well, I had my kid, my first kid, when I was, let's see, I'm 52.
Wow.
Wait, I'm still in the game.
What are you,
I'm
about
still
60,
in the game.
Dan? You're 60,
I'm
right?
48. Wait a minute.
You got a shot.
You had your first baby at 52?
52 and the second one at 54.
Oh, my God.
And how great has it been?
It's been exhausting. They suck the life out of you.
Yeah. Okay, good. So I'm okay.
I love them,
So,
but
Michael,
that's a lot of work.
No, but that's always been my thing. They do that to you. Like, I had my kids when I was 30, and they sucked the life out of me at 30. I
See,
can
that makes
imagine
me
at
feel
54.
good. Because I asked people, is it because I'm old that I'm exhausted? And they said, no, even if you have them at 25, you're exhausted.
But Michael, you can't you get help's not helping?
Even with help. We have a nanny like Monday through Friday, and it's still exhausting.
Have you thought about, like, you're going to be 62 one day, like, doing, like, really?
Why you have to, hey, man, he's happy. Wait, why are you doing that? Are you
No,
gonna
he's
be
right.
60?
No, because
Stu he's a truth teller.
Yes.
So I was walking past Citibank with my
Thank
daughter like a year ago, and a guy comes up to us and goes, "Oh, your granddaughter's so beautiful."
Oh,
man.
Oh.
So that's a good feeling.
Oh, man. Mike, did you drop kick him?
I said, "What? What did you say?" He goes, "Your granddaughter is beautiful." I said, "That's my daughter." He goes, "Oh," and he walked away.
Oh, man.
I mean, I know I'm 56, but I don't look that old.
I know. I get the same thing, though, when I say it's my girlfriend.
Wow.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Not you, Michael. Mike Wright.
He's the voice of the Yankees on the Yes Network. You can also hear Michael weekdays 3 to 7, 98.7 FM, ESPN New York. Good talking Yankee baseball with you, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
We really broke it down for the people.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good luck with those kids.
Demand once more money.
It's funnier that way. It's funnier that way. You can't dispute. All of you are shocked that I let him go without asking him a stand question. It's funnier that way.
I mean, just think about it, man. How old? He said he had a 2-year-old? Like, he's going to be 63 when he has to do meaningful, like, picking up, hugging, carrying. Like...
Still in the game, baby. Dan Batard with twins coming soon.
You're only a year younger than LaGreca?
Right? Because I don't have kids. You guys, my high school friends look ancient. You could say what you will about how I look. I don't look old. My friends look old. Why? Because I don't have any responsibility.
Well, also, you have a hat with a Muppet on it right now.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the kids, like your friends that went to college with you, as much as it is as who they're married to. And I'm not saying them specifically, just the wives. It's the wives, not the kids, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Dan Batard.
You're just allowed to give me one word on what you think. I tell you, American flag, you give me one word on what you think. Go ahead, Chris. You're only allowed one word.
Freedom.
That's what I was going to go with.
Stugotz.
Guillermo.
Bald eagles.
What?
2 words.
Well,
I mean, God, $2.
That's a fine.
$2. I mean, $2.
That's a fine.
Do you realize?
Is that like a shame?
Do you realize how hard it is to be that bad with 2 words, man?
apple pie.
I got 2 words for you.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Well, the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. Thank you. I can hear the walking ovation.
How should I introduce you, Alan? Is that okay, Father from Growing Pains? Is that all right? Or, how should I be introducing you?
Fine, I think things like iconic, legendary, and maybe Your Highness, all kind of, I'm fine with any of that.
How much money do you actually make just from the fact that you wrote 2 of the most famous television songs ever written?
I made enough to have 3 prenups.
I want to talk Tomas Hertl with him.
Yeah.
Is he the best player in hockey? Hockey correspondent.
Who the hell is that?
Yeah.
Hello, Mike. I have just risen from my slumber. I'm drinking a mint julep. I'm looking at beluga whales here in the Pacific Northwest, which is very relaxing because, as you know, it is tax time and the IRS is coming for an audit.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, or whenever.
Has Alan Thicke ever, while making love, played one of his son's songs.
I count on it. Are you kidding? It's the most perverse thing that I do.
Give me a list of what those things are that Shatner has turned down that Thicke has swooped in to do.
So, I mean, I did host a bunch of pageants. You know, I hosted Miss Universe and Miss World and Misconception. You name it, and I probably hosted it.
I want a dollar amount. How much money have you made by Shatner simply saying no?
$473.
Okay, excellent work by you. That was as the host of Misconception.
The only three words that Igor knew in English were vodka, dance, and girls. And I took it upon myself to make sure that all of that came true. And that was the last we saw him on the ice against Canadian teams for some time.
Really, only the only three words that you need to know, right?
I think, I mean, you might not even need to know dance. It could have been remarkably thick, or painfully thick, or thankfully thick.
You seem to be very happy with your marriage.
I am. I've been happy with all of them.
We have our celebrity prognosticator. I've been told all show that it's a surprise. This suggests to me that we haven't been broadcasting this, that this is not a guest. They couldn't get a real celebrity. I don't even know. I have
no idea.
I don't know who this is or what this is, but if it was somebody super famous, we would have told you they were coming on, I think.
Hello. I'm going to try to overlook the not very famous introduction.
When Snoop Dogg on radio one day was asked who the weirdest, most unusual guy he ever smoked weed with was, and when he responded, Alan Thicke, my son's lines lit up like, was he mistaken? Was he talking about you? Could that have been your dad? To which my response, of course, was, well, I was at the same party, maybe in another part of the room. I want to be there tonight when lightning strikes, fire on ice, something like that.
Is Turtle Wax still doing well? Is the business of Turtle Wax?
I don't know.
I wasn't asking you. I was asking.
I've never waxed my turtle.
Okay.
I got my hands full with beavers.
We very much appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get you around here more often. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Dan. My pleasure. We'll talk again sometime.
I hope so. Alan Thicke, be careful. He'll steal your women. Wow, what an interesting combination of funny and heartbreaking. Like, that hurt.
Yeah, it hurts.
That one hurt. It
missed that, man.
It hurt to listen to that. Yeah, because we had a lot of fun with him for a long time. Who would be the most popular guests in the history of the show? If you were to go the history of the 15 years we've been doing this.
I mean, Alan's certainly right up there. Ron McGill is certainly right up there.
If we were to go ahead and put this on a poll, let's come together with a list here at Le Batard Show. Who has been your favorite person in the history of this show? And the choices have to be from among Ron McGill, Greg Cody, Alan Thicke, Super Dave Osborne, the recurring guests.
Yeah, I was going to say Bob Einstein was working his way on that list before he self-imposed a ban after
the death of Alan Thicke, or was it Paxson? Like, somebody was on the show with us and then died, and Bob Einstein believes that our show is cursed and has now refused to come on. And in fact, Allison, can I get an update on this?
Still talks to Allison.
No, like every week, every day.
Yeah, it's
every
closer
day.
to every day than every week.
Every day?
Funkhauser from Curb Your Enthusiasm has been a friend of the show for a long time.
Allison, what is happening? Are you take your headphones off?
What is now? There's a phone. I hear a phone. Like, what is going on? A lot of people are saying Kenny G, by the way.
Oh, I heard that Kenny G was good on Drop the Mic. I heard he was dirty on Drop the Mic. Mike, did you get that sound cleared?
Still working on that.
So Kenny G, apparently, did he freestyle rapped against, who was it that he...
Richard Marx.
Richard Marx.
Those two are boys.
Yeah, they are boys. If you don't know anything about our show, we have a relationship with Kenny G that is funny. None of us have ever met Kenny G.
Nope.
We thought the same things about Kenny G that you probably thought if you didn't know Kenny G, which is that he's kind of cheesy, but he's actually fun and funny, and we were delighted to have him around.
Kenny G sort of occupies the Lebitard sweet space that Alan Thicke occupied, which is, oh, this is a surprise. You're like that in real life?
Right. Well, that's why I want Kenny G on the list, or Carrot Top, for that matter, although he was terrible last week.
He was awful.
What the hell happened to Carrot Top?
A lot of people, like recent people, getting some nominations here. We're getting the Pat Sajaks. Those are coming in.
Oh, yeah, Pat Sajak is a good one, too.
We're getting a lot of Chris Sims, and we're getting a lot of Greg Normans. We're getting a lot of those on the text machine here.
Okay, those two people need to get out of here. You guys have recency bias. You guys have no perspective. You guys don't appreciate this nostalgia and legacy for what it is.
I might be with you on Chris Sims, but Greg Norman lit this radio show up for about a week.
No, he did.
He was great.
He did, and we loved him.
Yes, and also, Chris Sims is about to set a record for most appearances on the Dan Lebitard show. He has 61 more of these.
Look, man, Greg Norman and Chris Sims have some work to do before they're allowed the great tribute of being on this poll that is like the hundreds of others that we do every day mocking sports radio.
But you're allowing Pat Sajak, right? Of course.
Yes.
Stan Van Gundy?
Stan, yes,
Okay,
you got to put Stan on
How
there.
about Marty Smith?
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Too new.
Wow.
It's been a year now with these
Marty
Martys.
Smith, John Amici.
Paddleboard guy. Did you write him that letter or not?
I mean, Allison, I've agreed to write that letter.
Send me the info. My job is done.
Send me the info. Okay. All right. So that was waiting on me. All right. I know. So no is the answer to your question. I've not written that letter for that paddleboarder. But Allison, what's going on with you and Bob Einstein? What is the latest? Funkhauser from Curb Your Enthusiasm. How often do you two talk?
Well, right now we're in a little downturn. I haven't spoken to him in a few days.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
So,
Is he okay?
but it's usually every other day.
Are you okay?
I'm not okay. I'm not okay.
And so how would you explain to the audience the nature of your relationship and everything that's happening?
We're friends. We're friends.
No, but I'm saying like the weirdness of it. Like we've played a couple of the messages where he'll just leave you messages on why he's not coming on the show, and he just likes to leave you messages.
He does. He likes to talk about the news. We talk about the news, what's going on. He likes to talk about you, but he doesn't want to come on the show. He doesn't like the show.
I think he's mad at her because the last time he called her, she handed me the phone. It was here, and I picked up, and he immediately hung up. And I don't think she's heard from him since. So I think he thinks that we put him on the air.
Uh-oh.
He's creating controversy. He loves, this is Billy, the instigator, stirring the pot. He loves to create controversy everywhere he goes.
Let's listen to some of the messages that Funkhauser, Super Dave, Bob Einstein leave. Bob Einstein, who's his brother? His brother is
Albert Brooks.
Albert Brooks, that's right.
Yeah.
I thought it was Albert Einstein.
It is.
Yeah.
He decided to not go with that publicly as a stage name.
Yes, his
For
brother.
reasons you probably do not know, Stugotz.
But let's go ahead and play one of the messages that Bob Einstein leaves for Allison.
Say I called you back. I tried 3 times calling me with those stupid questions. But here's the thing. I would love to answer those questions because I would have a lot of fun. But I like living. It's one of my favorite things to do. Get up, breathe the air, have some breakfast. If I'm working, I work. If I'm not, I'm not. That's all. It's very simple. It's black and white. I don't like to bring color into this, but it's simple. And too many people have died.
So he thinks the show is cursed and just refuses to come on it.
Do you have any concept what a lunatic world you're living in? Thank you.
How many more do you have? I can't listen to them enough. The number that you have. I mean, Allison comes in and plays them for me sometimes. Some of them are so raunchy. So, I mean, he is dirty. He's dirty. Allison.
She's speaking to him right now.
Yeah, she's on the phone.
She's talking to him right now. Let's put him on the air.
Let's do that thing where we just hear Allison's part of the conversation.
Okay, let's do that.
Allison, come to the microphone.
Wait, he's on hold.
Is he on hold? Are we going to talk to him?
I don't know.
What, Allison? Talk to him on the air, but don't actually like.
Yeah, talk to him on the air and try to convince him to come on the show.
Just
right
speak
now.
into the microphone.
Let's just hear your part of this.
Phone over here.
How dare I? What do you mean? I won't put you on the air, I promise. I won't put you on the air. I won't do that. I won't do that, I promise. We just... What? Right, because he wants to talk to you. He misses you. We all miss you. We need Bob in our lives.
Yes, we do.
You miss him too. Why do you have to get off? No, he wants to talk to you.
Please.
I want to live through the holidays.
Time to justify our unreasonable salaries.
I love that guy.
I do too. Lisa, it's too bad we're going to kill him one day. I love you so much, Bob. I'm sorry that one day we will murder you and never be charged. Because how can you prove a curse in a court of law? You'll never get us. We are leaving no paper trail.
Right, we have countless examples of guests
people who haven't died.
Who are still alive.
So many people who have come on our show and haven't died. Is Billy talking to him now? Oh, let's hear this. Hold on a second.
Huh?
Say something.
Just cut him off, Bill, and say something.
Say a word! He's telling me a joke.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right, we'll come back with whatever that joke was.
Dan Batard.
I was listening today. I was on my listening game today. I remember it like it was yesterday. Well, it wasn't yesterday. It was an hour ago, but I remember it clearly, and that's what I said.
Wait a minute. So you're saying you had to throw a cliche in there if I remember it like it was yesterday, even though it was an hour ago?
It was today.
Stugotz.
What you're saying is I remember it like it was yesterday, so you're really arguing against how well you remember it, because it was an hour ago. If you remember it like if it was yesterday, that means you don't remember it well.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Guillermo, $2. That segment could have ended so great with just Allison saying he wants to live through the holidays. And then we went to you and your call.
I didn't turn the microphone on. I didn't even know you guys were talking to me.
I was like, I put it on.
So that $2. The microphone was on, and
saying,
you didn't offer a contribution that was worth anything.
Right, but what he's saying is he was just having a private conversation with Bob. Bob was telling him a joke. He had no idea it was going to be mic'd up, and you can't cut a guy off in the middle of a joke, especially a comedian.
$1.
Read the room.
Tried to help you out, man.
So, do you feel shame at Le Batard Show? Do you feel shame when you land in the minority on one of our polls? Do you feel shame that you're being told by the rest of the listening community here that your opinion is the wrong opinion? I'm just curious. All of ESPN today is at a talent meeting. They excluded us because we are not talented.
Yep.
And Russillo's not doing his show today from 1 to 3 because everybody's in a meeting. So Stugotz and Mike Ryan will be taking the reins with the shipping container and soaring into the sky from 1 to 3.
A radio marathon. I think it's 1 to 4.
Oh, all right.
I preferred to be 1 to 3. In fact, I requested 1 to 3, but I think it's 1 to 4. That is a 7-hour marathon we're doing today, but it's my dream.
Well, right. Well, we will see. You will now see. It'll be the same show from 1 to 4 without me.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be all the same people. It'll just not have me in it. And so it'll be better and certainly more palatable to Russillo's audience than what I would do, which is nonsense. It'll be a sportsier show, no? Or?
I mean, we have McShay for a half hour in the first hour.
So, yes.
Yeah.
So, yes.
But you know, like...
So yes.
We don't want to come in and trash the place.
Correct.
We're the invited guest, and there's important things to get to, like overrated, underrated, or properly rated.
Right, we're going to do that as well, plus life advice. So, like, we got a big show coming up, and we got McShay for a half hour. His mock is out, his first mock of the year.
I like the idea, though, of just generally our show metastasizing, like where I like the idea of maybe you sneaking into, as you have been, Wingo and Golick, like,
yep.
And so we've been 10-1 here nationally for a little while, but I like it metastasizing and some of it leaking into with radio activity. You want an asbestos suit into the Russillo show, and some of it leaking into Mike and Mike. And just eventually there being spillage all over the place, and next thing you know, everything's corroded. That's what we're trying to get to here.
Right. I mean, Mike, I'm just warning you now, by like 2:30, I'm going to be gassed, and you just got to carry it from there. All right? In fact, if I can go home at 3, that'd be great.
It's going to be a real look at him already trying to.
I'm already tired.
Work less on his dream because his dream is me out of the way, right? Like
his dream used to be the dream, not as much. I don't dream. I don't have that dream nearly as often as I used to. I can be honest.
No, but the dream is. This is accurate. What I'm about to say is accurate. I think is accurate. The dream is you are me. And you then get to do whatever you want from the position of me. But that can't be with me here. So if I were to just remove me from the equation and then give you everything that comes with being me, you want the good things without any of the responsibilities because you'd get us fired in 3 days.
Well, my real dream is your check.
Don Le Batard.
It is funny to hear Stugotz and how generally resistant he is to knowledge.
Yeah.
Yep, it's the key to the show. Yep.
Stugotz.
You just figured out the secret sauce, Dexter.
Knowledge is my kryptonite.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Does anyone like the golf narc? Does anyone like the guy who calls in from the television show or watching golf on television and tattles on a rule breaker?
I hate it. I mean, I love golf. You know that, and I hate that rule is...
Well, they're getting rid of that. The reason I bring it up is because I'm paying a fine now because so many of you last segment noticed something that no one else did, which is I called the show Mike and Mike instead of Golick and Mike.
Right.
We noticed. We try to give you a break.
Wingo and Golick?
Yeah, we're giving you a break. I mean, you're going to run out of money.
It's been a rough week.
Yeah.
That's an understandable one.
Yeah, take the money back. It's fine.
It's good. We let you...
But my point is you guys seem to enjoy being the golf narc is my point. All of you who don't like the golf narc seem to enjoy being the golf narc.
It got me thinking maybe we could set up a line here where listeners can call in when we make a mistake and no one realizes it, and they can call in and say, hey, this mistake was made at this time. It'd be funny to play some of those back. I'm telling you.
It's the text machine. It's what I just did.
I know, but I think setting up a line and making it seem like it's more official, like you're calling into a PGA event to report a violation, could be funny.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Okay. Maybe it won't be funny. I don't know.
Right. All right. Chris Sims with us now. You can check him out, Bleacher Report. Reason we had him on, and he's been delightful. He signed a 70-day contract with us. He ranked Blake Bortles as his 70th best NFL quarterback. Cody Kessler was 71, and the rest of the list so far we've learned in day after day. Austin Davis, T.J. Yates, Cardale Jones, Brandon Weeden, C.J. Beathard, Sean Mannion is 64, and Jake Ruddock is 63.
Yep.
And I'm going to really enjoy when Blake Bortles holds up the Super Bowl trophy and the day after Chris Sims comes on with us and is still at like number 30 in his quarterback rankings.
Oh, I think he's entrenched at 70 no matter what happens.
No, but I'm saying, I know, but what I'm saying is we're going to be on number 30 by the Super Bowl. We're going to go 2 months after that.
Right.
Blake Bortles is going to be at the parade celebrating everything, and Chris Sims still has not gotten to the end of his list. Like, are you fearing that right now, Sims?
I am hearing it. I'm also hearing, I mean, am I now one of your top returning guests just because I'm too new?
That's right.
I mean, are you Blake Bortling me?
I
are
mean,
you putting me below 70?
I think so. I tried. I pushed for you, man. I did.
Yeah,
I know you did, Stugotz. You're my guy, man.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I wasn't really looking to be your guy.
I was.
Fine. I like you too, Dan, whether you like it or not.
Regardless, here we go. We're getting to number 62 on the list. Are you ready, Stugotz? This is a big spot.
I am
62.
Ready.
It's right before the immortal Jake Ruddock.
You're better than Jake Ruddock if he said your name here.
Number 62 in Chris Sims's top quarterback rankings. Go, baby.
Cooper Rush, backup quarterback, Dallas Cowboys.
Wow, nice.
Number 62.
That's the first time I've heard that name.
Well, the last 3 names, I've never heard of any of those people.
Well, that's what I'm here for, guys.
Well, how are you doing with the criticism so far? Because you know how social media is, and you seem to get it. How are you doing so far with all the people who are saying, well, where would you rank yourself, Mr. Sims?
I don't really, I don't care about social media, for one, so I don't even listen to that crap, really. I work at Bleacher Report. I work at NBC Sports. I study the game hard every day, and, I made this as kind of a comment. I truly believe it, and then you jumped on the bandwagon, and I'm having fun with it. I don't care.
Okay,
nice.
That's good. But if they say that you wouldn't even be number 70, since you're not on social media, you're not getting any of that. We're getting it. we're getting who the hell is Chris Sims?
Right.
Who the hell is Chris Sims to come after the sacred name of one Blake Bortles?
Yeah, well, I'm nobody, that's for sure. But I know I did play a few games. I did start a playoff game, so I had a few moments. And one thing I know is I could throw the ball better than Blake Bortles. So that's for sure. And I'll end that argument from there right away.
All right.
I mean, yeah, my career wasn't worth the damn, and of course got sidetracked because of my spleen issues and all that. But it is what it is right now, and I enjoy doing what I'm doing.
That last,
you're a guy that we called.
Yes. Look, man, I am now a Chris Sims fan. I want it stated for the record.
Thank you.
But I like that he just threw in there that sentence of, and I had my spleen issues. Like what you could have said is, Dan, I almost died on the field doing this. How's that for a credential? Like I almost died on the field doing it.
It boosts your resume. It does.
It does. I mean, unfortunately, it's the number one thing on my resume for my career. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what it is, and I deal with it and have fun with it.
All right. Well, thank you for you and your spleen. And the safety and the safety of your spleen.
And congratulations to Cooper.
I don't have a spleen. It's gone. It's all gone. There's nothing here to safety of anymore. So it's in the trash can somewhere.
Okay.
You think he had like a part of it, or?
And I thought it repaired. I thought I didn't realize
regenerates, or like
I was not familiar with the workings of the spleen. Were you, Chris? Before any of this happened?
I had no idea any of it.
What did you know about the spleen? What have you learned about the spleen?
Gosh, the spleen, of course, you can live without it. That's the first thing I learned.
Right.
The second thing is it's key for your immune system. That's the biggest thing. It fights infections, diseases, even your common colds, whatever it may be. And that is something I've had to deal with ever since I've lost it. I mean, I get freaking cold sores on my lips now, and I got to get vaccinations every 3 years and just stay on top of that all the time.
Oh wow! So you are. I didn't know that. You're more susceptible. So the common cold,
yes,
you get that more often than the rest of us.
I do. I'm like totally OCD guy. Like wash his hands crazy. Try to eat healthy as I can be during the week. All because of the lack of spleen.
That stinks. Like I didn't know that the spleen was that important. Did you know the spleen was that important?
No, I really didn't. I mean, I honestly. I didn't know what the hell the spleen did until after the fact. And then, doctors were like, hey, this is serious. This is serious for your long-term health. You got to watch these kind of things. And, I've been doing a pretty good job ever since.
But you never thought for a second, it's awful what you're going through, but you never thought for a second that the spleen, once it was taken out of you, that it would just kind of grow back naturally, right?
Which is what...
No, I did not believe. But I was told that there's cases of that where it actually does regenerate.
All right. Wow. See, thank you. I don't feel like such an idiot right now compared to spleen expert Stugotz over here. Sims, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate it, Chris. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
Be good. Have a good day. See you.
Too.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Nice guy.
We're learning. We're learning things. We're learning things with Chris Sims. It's nice to see that side of him and put him on the poll because he deserves now. Yes. He has reached the status to be somewhere in others receiving votes on favorite people. He could be the Blake Bortles on our list.
I was always a major
guests.
Applewhite guy, but Chris Sims has totally won me over.
We have to come up with a list and put him at number 70.
Guillermo, go ahead and put it on the poll. Did you know the spleen was that important? And the second question, I want it to be about Chris Sims. I want him dropped into the the favorite guest thing.
You can listen to the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio, and you can watch on ESPNU.